y'all, it's Arwen with You Never Know with Arwen. I apologize for my voice. I'm getting over the flu and all that fun stuff that comes with the flu. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to create a spread. Now, if you've ever had a tarot spread done, or tarot reading, or seen one on TV, you've probably seen what's typically called the Celtic cross. Now, it's not Celtic, except that the dude that came up with it probably had some English-Irish background. But it was a secret when he let it out. And the secret order that he was part of was not happy. But the Golden Dawn is where we believe the Celtic cross came from. The Celtic cross is the one you see where there's a card in the center, one at the bottom, one to the side, one above, one here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 going up the side. Pardon me. And some people call it the crown and scepter because, again, you've got this card here that looks like a crown, and the straight up and down looks like a scepter. Each position has a meaning. Now, here's a big, fat tarot secret. Are you ready? Are you listening? I'm going to whisper it. People change the meanings of the positions. It's true. My Celtic spread and the meanings that I assign to various positions are not the same as another reader. His positions may be slightly different from the next person. Tarot is very subjective in a lot of ways, and so this is one of those things where it is very subjective. I'll be drinking a lot of tea tonight, I can tell you that. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about was how you can take hold of a spread and make it yours, right? Sometimes the Celtic cross isn't the right spread. I have people who come to me, and that might be what I start out with, but then I go out and do what I consider a more organic tarot reading. I tend to read one card for situation and then a help card and a hinder card on either side of it. And that way, I have more of a conversation with the person I'm having my tarot interaction with. I don't believe that there's anything like cold reading. I'm very much in the camp of, I believe it's Mary Kay Greer that did a very, very well-written article on cold readings and why they aren't. People give away stuff all the time. Most often, the answer's in the question you ask, so think about the question before you ask it. If you come to me and say, does he love me? Immediately I know a couple of things. You're in a relationship. If you're female, you're heterosexual if you've used the term he. And you're not sure, so there are obviously problems going on in your relationship already. Now, I don't think you should go to the tarot reader and do this. Read me. Just read me. Because it's got to be a back and forth. There's got to be an exchange of energies. You have to communicate with the reader. Think of them as, I hesitate to use the word doctor, but with a doctor, you're not going to go in and go, tell me what's wrong. You're going to give information. And it's an okay thing to do. Now, I will often start out and I will ask my sitter, I'm the reader, they're the sitter, clever terms, to tell me what the subject is, but not the exact question. So they might say work. They might say home. And we'll start with the card and we'll see what the initial spread says. 90% of the time, it's targeted. 10% of the time, the tarot goes off and reads for, I don't know, somebody in Mozambique. So we have to come back. Sometimes I'll pick up a different deck and read with that deck instead. You know, it's like I tell people, every reader is not meant for every sitter. There are people that I have handed their money back to them or not taken money at all because the reading simply didn't go right. It happens. Maybe 3 people since I started reading in 1980. So I just want you to know that if you ever go to a reader and you don't feel the connection, you feel like they're guessing, they're pulling stuff out of the blue, it's okay to say, you know what, this isn't working. And if you feel comfortable, give them an amount of their time and leave. No, nothing says that when you sit in the chair that your butt is glued there until the end of the reading. If it's not working, it's not working. Now, a lot of readers do their own spreads. There's another popular one that a lot of people tend to call a gypsy spread. And it's 21 cards. It's 7 cards left to right, 3 rows. I'm watching myself and the thing in my hands like this little blur. So it's like 1, 2, 3. I don't have to count them all out, do I? And they read these. It's a very complicated system to me. People who do it all the time are like, it's not complicated. What's your problem? But it has to do with where a card falls as to the timing of it, whether it's close or not close, how they interplay with one another. So those are 2 fairly common spreads. If you go online, you're going to find a lot of tarot spreads, a lot. I have a book of tarot spreads that was illustrated by Lisa Hunt. It's called Fairy Tale Tarot Spreads, and there's 10 of them. 9 of them are out on the web already, and I tell people that right up front. One of them isn't. But this is a book that it brings all of them into one place, and it gives you some gorgeous artwork by the fabulous Lisa Hunt, who is one of the premier tarot artists of our day, in my opinion. She's prolific, she's very skilled, and she understands tarot, and she understands the art of oracles. And you'll see some decks that they don't have any soul in the artwork. The artwork is cold. It doesn't reach. And I don't know how to describe that any better than that. But let's take a look at what I'm talking about when I say how to create a spread. I'm going to show y'all a really simple way. All you need is a marker and note cards. Oh, wait. If you need to run to Walmart, go ahead. Joking. So, the basis of any reading is information needed, right? You don't come to a reader because you know everything's right in your love life and you just want confirmation. Or work is going great and you just want to stop by and drop $100 off at the reader to let them tell you that. I don't understand. But if you do, I'm in Austin, Texas, and you can contact me at any time. I'm good with that. I really like questions that are open-ended. And I'll tell people, if you sit down with me and ask me yes-no questions, you're going to get a yes-no answer. Short, to the point, we're done. You want more information, so rather than, will I get that promotion, you want to ask, what are the factors that I need to know about for getting the promotion, or what is influencing this promotion to my good, to my bad, whatever. But you want to open it up. You want to have more information. Oh, I forgot to tell you, my shirt, no more hurting people, peace. It's Martin Richard, the little boy who was murdered by the Boston Marathon bomber. It's something he drew, I think, a year before his death, and they did a fundraiser for him. So no more hurting people, y'all. The reporter's questions. If you've done any English writing, you've probably heard this. Used to be hit on a lot more when I was younger. It may have fallen out of fashion since. But the questions are who, what, when, where, and why. Generally, that's the basis of everything. Every good article, every good news article answers those questions. They tell you who did it, where it was done, when it was done, what was done, and why it was done. Boom. Now, Rudyard Kipling is one of the originators of this, and he talks about 6 good men have stood by me, and their who, what, where, when, why, and how is his 6th one. But how really is answered in who, what, where, when, and why, if you think about it. So, it's a good way to start a story. Good way to look at a murder mystery. Cops use this, got to have the basics. It's just the facts, ma'am. Joe Friday. So, what I do is I shuffle these cards. I think, I want to know, I don't know. I want to know what the universe needs me to know. And then I'm going to pull one card just to see. And we get upside down, where. So that would tell me that the answer to my question, what I need to know, is a location question. And I'm going to pull from the Dreaming White Tarot. And I get the fabulous Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is a card about movement and money. So the universe wants me to look at where my money is, where my money's going, how I'm working with my money. That's how I would interpret that. That's the information I would take away from that. So that's one way to use it. You can use it as a daily meditation and see what you need to meditate on. And if who comes up, like it just did for me, who, and I just cut the cards to find an answer, oh, I get the funny 8 of Cups. Now, I love this card in this deck because she looks so determined. And she's walking away from all those cups. She's walking away from all those leftover, used up, no more good emotions. When you're doing these readings, when you're working a spread out, you need to give yourself wiggle room. Sometimes you can put in other questions in here. You could put in, let's just say it's a family issue. You could put in mother, father, sister, brother, if you have those in your family, and shuffle them up. And for the who, then pull one of those to see which person in your family is the one you focus on the most, and then pull a tarot card. So does that make sense to y'all, what I'm talking about in terms of spreads are nothing more than boundaries or fences. There are containers for the information. You could pull tarot cards at random. I could just pull a card and go, the world. I don't know what that means. I don't have any clue. And then I might go to my other cards and say, well, what is the world supposed to mean in terms of whatever question I'm calling or asking? And then I pull up what? So if you see what I'm saying, we're looking at different ways to contain your question. I'm looking in the chat room to see if folks have any questions. Thank you. Somebody asked our Yeti asked, should a beginner stick to a single spread for a while before modifying or changing it? Yes and no. Yes, if the spread is working for that person. if they are getting some results, if they are gaining information from the spread that's working for them. If it feels cold or inflexible, then no, I don't think they should. Somebody in the chat room right now is actually the culprit for why I read tarot. And she just said it's a framework for directing and pointing your intuition and insight. Exactly. I think of it as riverbanks. And so you're navigating down the river, and there are stones. You get information, you get up on the stone, and then you get back in the river and go back down. But Kate is the one to blame for me ever picking up tarot cards and actually doing something with them other than messing around with them. She's the first person that ever gave me a tarot reading back in college, and 1 or 2 years ago, swear. And she read with the thought deck and gave me a copy of that. I didn't like that deck. She knows this. I've since gone back to that deck and thought, okay, I get more of it, but it didn't speak to me. And I'm all about getting that connection, letting those cards speak to you, and not in an anthropomorphic, hi Arwen, I'm the Jack of Hearts. Wait, that would be a little different. But like with the Dreaming Way deck, when I first got this deck, y'all thought, well, it's kind of different. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. The High Priestess is super young, and well, the Nine of Wands looks sad. They don't look like they're defending their territory, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in it I wasn't sure about. But I tend to give a deck a chance. I tend to read with them and play around with them and see. And I took this deck, after I decided that I would read it, I took it to a party and read with it there. Amazing. Really amazing. It really, for whatever reason, my mind connected with these images. They're done by a Korean gentleman named Rong Choi, and I cannot remember the artist's name, and I'm so sorry. She's a lovely girl. Can't remember her name. But it's a really, really cool deck. For beginners, though, it might not be a good deck. And that's because it's not a traditional deck. It's somewhat traditional in that it follows the Rider-Waite iconography. Oh, wow, y'all. Here's to being sick. Images. We'll just stick with that. Images. I mean, like the Three of Cups, it does show 3 people, 3 cups, but it doesn't give the same feeling that the Rider-Waite does. So I think rather than sticking with a basic spread as a beginner, as our Yeti producer asked, I think it's more important to stick with a basic deck first. I would suggest, and a lot of people are like, oh, but Arwen, I really love such and such deck. Well, that's great. I mean, I'm really super glad that people love all the decks out there. But get the basic Rider-Waite, get the iconic, everyone knows it, everyone's seen it, it's used in so many books, as your beginner deck, and then get another deck to work with. A lot of people love the Robin Wood deck. And Robin Wood is what is called a clone, or a Rider-Waite clone. Any deck that uses the same basic images as the Rider-Waite and the same basic meanings is a clone. For me, there are only 3 types of tarot. There's the Marseille, which is the oldest, and that has, I've got a Marseille style deck here. Instead of images for the suits, the minors, it'll just do counts of the various, whatever the devices are. So that's the 10 of cups, or in this deck, the 10 of bowls. So, I have the Illuminati. I don't have it with me. Our Yeti producer just said he liked the looks of the Illuminati. It's a really cool deck, very lush colors. But Robin Wood is definitely a Rider-Waite icon. Wow. clone. We'll just stick with that. Here's the 9 of Pentacles. Very, very typical. The Rider-Waite shows a beautiful woman dressed well in a yard with a hawk. Beautiful woman in the yard, dressed well, hawk. Check. But she's translated it. She's taken the images and made them a little more approachable. So this is also a nice deck to start with. I've been reading a little bit with it, and I'm finding it pointed, a little more sharp than I expected. So I'm not sure that I'll be reading with it a lot. Sometimes that happens, and I don't know if it's me or the deck. Another deck that's another Rider-Waite clone, and you'll notice that's mostly what I read with. I am not a, like I said, Thoth, and I don't read with the Marseille style, which are the, where they don't have the, they have illustrated pips, but they're not scenic minors. But here's one that's another icon, blah, 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 blah. Y'all, I am just babbling. Hang in there with me. Isn't that sweet? The Queen of Cups. Now, that's a very different deck, right? That doesn't look a thing like the Rider-Waite. What's that one? The King of Pentacles, our brown tabby. This is the Cat's Eye Tarot. Highly recommended if you like cats and you understand that cats aren't always sweet and precious. You'll like this deck. This is one of the few decks that on just flipping through the cards, it made me cry. Several of the cards are very sharp, very pointed, and very hard to see. They're hard to see because of the information they give. I'm trying to see if any of them are on there. And I'll just kind of flip through here. But what they do here is the artist is actually a vet in Portland, Maine. She's known as the Cat Doc. Her name is Deb Given. And Deb is amazing. She's captured cats. There's like maybe 2-3 humans in the entire deck, which I love. I'm trying to find the card that just made me boohoo the first time I saw it. Because I want to make y'all cry. Yes, I do. But I really like this deck, but it's, again, for a beginner, might not be the right deck. Simply because it's not the Rider-Waite. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to learn a tarot deck, and then we're going to go back into the ways to make a spread. This card made me wail. See what that is? Somebody was feeding a cat, stopped feeding the cat, and they went on their way. The cat didn't get to go anywhere. That's the card of heartbreak, treachery, and betrayal. Normally it's 3 swords in a heart. Didn't have to have any swords, didn't have to have any cats in this. Boom. It was just right there in your face. And it was that I was like, wow. She really, really, really nailed what the meaning of the 3 of Swords is. Somebody in the chat room said they didn't have the Cat People deck. They had the Cat People deck many years ago and didn't connect with it. That's an unusual deck because it's actually, the whole basis of the deck is that this is a different world and a different group of people. And we have to kind of take ourselves out of our here and now and put ourselves into this total fantasy world. I found it to be a colder deck. I couldn't really connect with it. It's interesting. The orc is interesting, but I couldn't really yank myself in. So let's talk a little bit more about a spread. Does anybody in the chat room have a question? What we'll do is develop a spread and then maybe do a reading with it. watching in the chat room. This is your chance. Our producer says, I only use and know the 3-card spread. But which 3-card spread? There's a good 50. Oh, past, present, and future. Another 3-card spread that you might like on a daily basis is one I learned from Mary Kay Greer's Tarot for Yourself. And that is the body, mind, and spirit spread. And you shuffle the cards, and then you cut them into 3 piles, and then you feel for the energy. This is an exercise to help you learn how to use energy as well. And you feel, for me, it's which pile feels the densest or the heaviest. It's really difficult to explain, and it's not always the thickest. Sometimes it's the shortest. Tarot for Yourself is one of the basics. I think anybody who's reading tarot, and I don't often say finite statements like this, but if you're reading tarot, that's a book you need. It's an excellent book. It's not so much meanings as it is ways to work with the cards and learn the cards. She talks about walking into a card. Eileen Connolly also has 3 books out. Mary Kay Greer has 3. Eileen Connolly has 3 that are set. Kind of hard to find now. I think that Mary Kay Greer's Tarot for Yourself is in its... oh gosh, I don't know what printing it is, but it's excellent. Excellent book. If there are 2 ways to read, and there's a blend of the 2. One is intuitive. That's looking at the cards and letting them tell a story. I've just pulled 3 cards here. I've got the 8 of Cups, 10 of Wands, Queen of Swords. Why does the 8 of Cups keep showing up for me, y'all? It's about leaving past emotions. If I was putting that in the past, that would be about me learning to let go of stuff and move forward. Present would be 10 of Wands, overdoing, taking on too much. Word. Future is Queen of Swords, more mentally focused, working on things that are for me, and being very direct in my thought. Now, if I was reading them that's reading them on an intuitive level, just letting them tell you a story, right? She's walking away, picking up too many things, sitting with the sword, and looking very sternly ahead. If I'm reading them for the traditional meaning, my traditional meaning and my intuitive stuff are very linked because I've read for so long and studied so much. They're going to do this. It's just natural. But the 8 of Cups is about letting go of old baggage and understanding that cups that were full and cups that were nourishing you are no longer doing that, and you need to move forward to find new cups. The 10 of Wands often shows somebody with so many sticks on their back that they've fallen down and help they can't get up. It's because they've taken on too much. They've tried to do too much, declined any of the things that they love to do, any of their passions, and they're trying to do them all. As we all know, that's pretty much a recipe for disaster. The Queen of Swords is sometimes seen as a widow. She is a sharp-tongued woman. She is somebody who can be emotionless and more based on facts. Me too, Robin Marie. Robin Marie was laughing about the doing too much, I think. Sorry. So I'd like to do a few readings. I'm looking for my who, what, where, when. Right? Actually, it's Safari Spice by Celestial. Arwen drinks Safari Spice when she's ill by Celestial Teas. Oh, it's wonderful. It's a red rhubarb. I have just dropped a card. Y'all will have to excuse me for... Pardon? I'm back. I got got my nails done. Oh, look, I got my nails done.
That's
See my nails?
Subtle.
Got my right. Got my nails done. Oh, hi. How are you? My husband said that I might want to put my hands in my pocket, but I absolutely deny that. Which card jumped ship? Ace of Pentacles from the Dreaming Way. I know they've got to get cut, Robin. They're 3 weeks in or 2 weeks into needing a little trim down. So now I can't pick anything up if it falls on the floor. But did anybody ask a question? Oh, yeah, it's pretty. Yes, I have a shiny side. Thank you. As some of y'all know, I went out and ran away to Vegas 2 weeks ago, got married, and got the flu. Woohoo! I don't recommend that as a combination. It was not very fun. Nobody has a question? I'm doing free readings and not one of you has a question? Hello? I know, bossy, aren't I? Kim, unfortunately, what happened in Vegas this time came home to Austin and hopefully didn't get shared. What made me do it? Ooh.
Kate did have a question. She threw one in there. What is the best first step for change that she needs to do? What is the best first step for change I need to make this year is her actual question.
Okay, Kate, let's do that. What's the first step? I'm going to pull... okay, I've got 5 cards in front of me, left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You tell me 2 cards you want. Which 2? And Vic, I see your question. We'll get to that one too. I'm sure she's causing trouble. Kate Sparrow, you cannot pick the same number twice. Thank you. Some people's friends, I tell you. So we have who and what. So, let's do this. And this is what's the best first step. So first is what. And I'm pulling the 4th card down. And then the 5th card. Wow. Okay, girlfriend. What? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you really, really ready? You get, dun dun dun, the Chariot. The Chariot says it's time to pick up the reins and move forward. It is time to make things happen. It is time to get it in gear. Now, the Chariot is the card of home and the card of Cancer. So there's something going on at home that you need to do. Now, I know Kate fairly well, I think. We've known each other for 1 or 2 months. And I'm going to say, Kate, that this is about you moving on things in your home and making things in your home come into line with what you want. And this is forward movement. So slow, steady, and continuous movement is going to be your best first step for the change you need to make this year. Now, I don't know what change that is you're looking to make, but I have some guesses, as you probably know. But the Chariot is mastery of self. That's the key phrase there. So what is it about yourself that you feel like you need to master, you need to take authority over? That's where you want to start. The who is really interesting. We have the Hanged Man. I'm trying to do this slow. Now, the Hanged Man is an interesting card. He's a card of sacrifice. He's a card of giving up things in order to get other things. He's tied into two mythological figures. Now, let me state right here and now that I use the word myth for all religions because I believe one man's myth is another man's religion. So, this stands for the mythological figure Odin and the mythological figure Christ. Both have sacrifices in their background. Both gave up major portions of their own lives to do better for others. Christ allowed himself to be crucified on the cross in order to be the intercessor for people to talk to God and to make it into heaven. That was his position. Odin hung himself upside down from the tree of Yggdrasil, and he wanted to gain knowledge. And the Vikings, bless their little pointy hats, are very vivid. The tale talks about him hanging upside down for 9 days. Worms are crawling in out of his nose, out of his ears, through his eyeballs. Ew. But when he got cut down, I don't remember if his ravens took him down or how he came down, but the point is that when he came down, he had the knowledge of the runes. The runes are one of the first written alphabets that we know of, if I'm remembering correctly. He was given the power of the alphabet, the power of written word, to give to the people that believed in him. As a writer, I don't believe there's anything more important than the written word. So, there are your things. You have a sacrifice, a card of sacrifice, and a card of letting go of and getting rid of, and really focusing on you. This card, the Hanged Man with the Chariot, those are two major arcana, Kate. So this isn't, skip to the fields. This is pretty heavy stuff. And you need to pick up the reins, drive your own life, and let go of what needs to be let go of. Does that make sense to you, sweetie? Okay. She says, yeah. I can hear her saying it too, y'all. She's an Aries, by the way, so she's not stubborn at all. You're welcome, baby. I love you. Anybody else have it? Dravik asked, how's trouble? Now, I'm not going to tell y'all who trouble is right away. I'm going to shuffle these cards, and Vic, I've got the same 5 cards in my hand. I've shuffled them around. Give me 2 numbers. Three and 5. You get who and where. I'm going to put because Trouble is Vic's cat who recently crossed over. I'm going to use the Cat's Eye Tarot. And Vic just wants to know, how's Trouble? And she was 19 or 20. How old was she, Vic? 18. Okay. I'm going to start with the 7th card. 6 is where and 7 is who. So that's what we're going to do. Ha! The Haynes Kitty. The Haynes Kitty in this card lies in front of a fireplace. Fat, happy, relaxed. This again is a card of sacrifice. And I believe this is a trouble way of saying that she understands the sacrifice you did for her. That she understands that you allowed her to cross over and become at peace. Hard decision, right? One of the hardest decisions we have to make as humans is when we have to let our babies go. Where? Oh, Vic, this is wonderful. Do you see this? That's the Nine of Pentacles. This card with a tabby cat, and I've seen pictures of trouble. So this cat sitting out at a farm. This is the card of being happy, at peace. This is the card of the successful woman and the Rider-Waite deck. It's the card I showed with the woman sitting out in the garden. Garden's gorgeous. She's dressed beautifully. It's the card of being in a place of happiness and being a lovely, comfortable, wonderful place. I couldn't have set that card up better if I wanted to. Yes, I'm crying too, damn it. There's even a chicken for her to chase in the yard. It's absolutely contentment, Kim. That's perfect. The Nine of Pentacles is understanding where you are and loving where you are. There's a hint of being ready for the next thing, a hint of being ready for the next growth. So, was she a rabbit chaser? Vic said he's surprised it's not a rabbit. But this is the card of a cat who is comfortable. I mean, look at these cards together. Right? Is that showing up? Because I don't have the video up in front of me.
Yep, it's doing just fine.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful combination. Robin, if Vic is pregnant, there is a whole lot of talking that's going to have to happen. Vic would make a great daddy. But sweetie, I think this says that Trouble is very content, very happy, and very free where she is now. So I think it's a yes, thank you, is the answer you're getting. Did that help, sweetheart? Cool. And it is hard when we lose somebody like that. And that's something that I don't think people have actually chatted about a lot, is reading for the other side. It's something I do. I don't advertise it a lot because it falls into the "that's really weird, Arwen" category. People who I have read that will tell you that I have channeled, I don't know if channel's the right word, or communicated with relatives from the other side. Oh, Vic says, you already know you're already weird. But it's a very interesting thing to talk to somebody from the other side, and you have to kind of trust what's going on. I did a reading for a friend's mom, and during the reading, this woman shows up, and I describe her and give them information. And just this past weekend, I saw my friend again, and she told me that the woman who'd come to me was her aunt, and her great aunt, excuse me. And her grandmother, the great aunt's sister, was dying. And the grandmother had told her that her sister had been by several times, telling her it was time to go. So very much, it really confirmed, because some of the things I told them were there was a particular flower, just a whole bunch of stuff. And she said that it all confirmed for them. And I realized that when they told me this, my reaction was, that's freaking weird. Sometimes it's hard to accept that what we do is real. But when you look at somebody and say, you know, there's a man standing there with a cleaver and I don't know who he is, and the person you're reading for says, I know exactly who that is, it's so-and-so. Okay. And I'd love to get some other readers on here who've done mediumship and what I like to call spontaneous mediumship. It's not like I'm going into trance, putting the candles out and really working at it. It's just there. People just show up. Griff wants to know about getting published. Okay, Griff. Let me get these cards, these who, what, where, wins. Okay, they are shuffled as much as I can shuffle 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give me 2 numbers. Robin, I'd love to talk with you more about that. 2 and 5. When and what? I'm going to flip over to the Dreaming Way. And we'll see what we've got over here. Okay. When and what? When, the Ten of Pentacles. That's a really good card, and that actually to me says, heck yeah, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Actually, fairly soon. You'll probably hear within 10 weeks. I don't know what their turnaround on submission is, but that's a great card for this. And the what is, dun dun dun. Are you ready? What is it? Oh my God, Arwen, quit being so freaking slow. I love doing background chatter. The Star. Right? A goal reached. I think that says that, yeah, you are going to get published. You simply need to, the Ten of Pentacles is the card of wealth and community. So if the card has, the story has community ties for you, then it's a definite. The 10 for me, 10 weeks, because it is the Pentacles. Sometimes Pentacles are slower, so some people read that as 10 months. But we could do seconds, minutes, hours, days, you know. But being in publishing, I know for a fact that submissions for books can take 6 months. Magazines tend to be a little quicker, but I think that this is a definite yes for you. The Star is a great card for this, and I love this. This star is so fun. Take a look at the pictures. Not pictures, but pictures. The red and white, and then the white. And our androgynous star there. And it's just a lovely, lovely card for this question you asked. So, yeah, awesome. It's a great, I think, a great answer for you. Now, I wanted to do another reading, but right now I want to share with y'all a couple of resources. 3 weeks to 5 months. So, 10 weeks. Mark it down. I'm going to share with you a couple of books, but first I'm going to share with you the Deck of 1,000 Spreads. This is by Tierney Sadler, and it's an amazing deck. She has created a resource that helps you pull cards, and from those cards, oh, that didn't make it very clickable, did it? Poop. We may have to redo that. Just copy and paste the whole thing. It's an affiliate link. But Tierney's got a great deck. It's the Deck of 1,000 Spreads. One of my favorite books is Tarot Spreads by Robin. I'm looking at Robin's name. It's not by Robin. It's by Barbara Moore. And it does techniques and layouts and gives you some ways to see how spreads are put together and some new spreads. And if you just want a book of spreads, just absolutely, you got to get the Power Tarot. It's by Phyllis Bega and somebody. I'm so awesome. Sorry. But those are 3 very, very good resources for you in terms of learning spreads and branching out. If you want to look at my fairy tale tarot spreads, I'm going to give you that also. And I think, Griff, you and Kathy have that book, I think. But now we've got about 10 minutes left. I do want you all to remember, please, if you want a free reading from me, if you want a 3-card by email reading on a question, all you have to do is buy this workbook. Why am I doing this? A couple of reasons. One, I really believe in this workbook. The downloadable version, not the print version, is the one that you qualify for because I can't track print. This workbook is by Leonie Dawson. She is an amazing woman out of Australia. The workbook works. It simply works. Last year, I wrote down 3 goals that I thought were crazy out there goals. One of them was to have my tarot book of spreads illustrated by a major tarot artist. I asked a couple of people. I got a couple of no's. I got one yes. We discussed price. We came to an agreement. And Lisa Hunt illustrated my Fairy Tales Tarot Spreads ebook. And it's gorgeous. There's 4 or 5 illustrations. There's corner work. She just did an amazing job. I might have thought about it, but if I had not put it down on paper and written down some actionable steps with this workbook, who knows? Kate just asked if I have the How to Read Tarot on my website. I do. It's a little what I call an e-pamphlet. It's got 2 lessons, and it also talks about how to set up a tarot journal. To get that, go to tarotbyarwen.com and sign up for my newsletter, and you'll get a link to get that free. And I'm getting some good responses from that. A lot of people have used it. Had one girl she's my age. She's been reading almost as long as I have. And she said that the 2, I can't talk anymore, y'all. I've lost my voice. She said that the 2 lessons in there, she did those with a deck she's known forever, and it helped her get even more out of the deck. She was really surprised by how much more she got to pull out of the deck. So it's really, I think it's great. I wrote it. But I've had some good responses from other people and from people who've been reading for years. And that's what's very interesting to me. If you want to write a book, yes, it's all about Arwen right now. I have a e-course. I'm putting that out there too. Kate's actually taken this e-course. It's 33 days to finish your book. It's mapping the hero's journey with tarot. And for 33 days, you get an email in your inbox that gives you lessons, it gives you handouts, it gives you quotes and journal prompts. There's a lot in this e-course. I wrote it as a book, and the book got rejected. They said it was too niche for them. So I put an e-course. It's over 85,000 words over the course of 33 days. And Kate says great character development. There's an in-depth chapter on how to create 3-dimensional characters, characters with interesting flaws. Now we've got 6 minutes left. Who else has a question? Let's see, Griff's asked a question, Kate's asked a question, Vic's asked a question. I guess that leaves Robin, Kim, Samantha. Oh, Samantha's here. Tell me if I should wait on buying a house. All right, Robin, I've got the 5-card shuffle. Give me a number, 2 numbers between 1 and 5. Three and 4. We get when and what. An interesting combination. Cat eye or Korean deck, the dreaming way. Anyway, I love this deck, Kim. It's a beautiful little deck. You should sell it in your shop if you don't. Okay. And I'm being told the 7th card is the card we're starting with, so we'll start with 7. Seven. And the 9th card. Okay. You got when and what. So when. And the when card is the Page of Swords. Now, you asked if you should wait on buying a house. When the Page of Swords shows up, that's a card that can talk about being less emotional and more intellectual. It's more fact-finding. It's more, and the pages are young. So we're talking about, you're still at the very beginning. There's some more fact-finding you need to do. You need to cut away some of the emotional stuff around this. And it feels to me like that the ownership of the home and the ownership of the responsibility of the home are kind of warring with each other. You're kind of like, I'd love to have my own house, but having to take care of everything, I'm not sure how those work. And ask yourself who in your past hammered into you that you weren't successful until you owned your own home. Now, the what card? 6 of Swords. Moving from troubled times, moving from troubled places. But this is allowing others to help you move. This is allowing other people to propel you out of where you are. If where you are now has trouble around it, or it has unhappy waters, I don't know why that phrase comes to my mind, then you do want to look at moving. You do want to look at going somewhere else. The 6 of Swords is a card of movement. So to me, that'd be getting on down. Well, there you go. The street floods. Does it flood ucky water? Is it, because some flooding is not so bad, and some floods are like, God, I need a typhoid shot before I step outside. Make those decisions. But this is very intellectual, because we've got 2 swords going on here. If she's coming back to Texas, she's coming to Austin. I claim her. But there's definitely some movement here, but some emotional disconnect is what's needed. What is your sign, Robin? I guess I should have asked you that. Maybe that's why the 6 of Swords is, her sign is Peeps. Kim? Make me come over there. But the 6 of Swords could be, if it's a, y'all are just killing me. The 6 of Swords, if it's an investment property, it could be a place for people who are in trouble and need a place to come through to get better and move on. So that's another way to look at it, as a transitional point for people, if it's not someplace you expect people to stay for long. But with swords and swords, I'm going to say there's a lot. Okay. Okay, that's why I'm like, why do all this healing around this? Yeah. Well, if you can take the emotions out of it and make sure you're doing it for all the logical reasons, jump on it. And spiritual healing is something I think we all need. Even those of us who say we're enlightened, it's never. I like me and Bill Bean too. Huh. Kim, you're not being a very good East Texas girl. Hey y'all, it's 10 o'clock. I didn't think I'd make it with my voice. I so appreciate y'all coming by and hanging out with me in chat. We'll see each other next Monday. Who knows what I'm talking about? I think I have a guest lined up, but I have to look and see because flu brain, I can't remember. As always, find me on Facebook at You Never Know Arwen. And you can also find me at Tarot by Arwen 1 on Facebook. I love y'all. Seek joy, y'all. Good night.